The Xfinity Analyst Desk back at it again with the dank analysis. Game 2 about to go down here for our second day of Week 2 for the ESL Pro League. We're into our 7th season now. Good God, time does travel fast.
You didn't even have facial hair when we started out.
Today, actually, I was fully clean shaven, and that's just how good that first game was. Anyway, I can't say that. I can't say that with a straight face.
Look. Let's get to the crux of the matter here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Everybody playing tonight was considered a middle-of-the-pack or lower-end team, right? We're looking at teams this evening, the HellRaisers, the Heroic. Even though HellRaisers made it to the finals last season, Na'Vi were down the bottom, AGO, we don't know what to expect, North with some weird roster moves, LDLC, you know, you don't really put a lot of stock in, Heroic, third best Danish team. Let's make it exciting. Let's get ourselves excited because some of these teams are probably going to get relegated, and some of them are probably just going to stay in the middle of the pack, but the relegated ones are where I'd probably be more interested to be delving into. Now, let's get rid of LDLC. Let's get them out of the division. Yeah, let's throw them out. Let's get AGO. Let's put them in the bin as well. Now we're talking. Now we're looking at some big changes. Probably a couple more we can get rid of. Who do you reckon, Yanko?
North.
Okay, we can get rid of North. Okay, we're just absolutely scalping the division.
No, I'm kidding. But, yeah, it's always, you know, I think we are became a bit of an elitist group, right? With the events we're doing, you know, Tier 1 most of the time. And when these underdog teams show up, it's not great Counter-Strike, right? And that's why we are sometimes a bit too harsh on them. But, you know, knowing where they come from, you can see the road from someone like Space Soldiers, right? This is their first time in the Pro League, for example. And now at the last major, they managed to, like, pass the qualification. You know, they got to the qualifier, you know, exactly, and then like past that stage. So it's a working process for these teams, right, and the players. And at the very least, what we've learned to know by this time is that some of these teams, even though they not make it as a full unit, there are players that are good enough that they will get picked up by someone else, right? You remember Penta last season. There we go. Sunny joins Mousesports, and now Mousesports are a very strong side. So a lot of examples like that, and I think that's why, you know, leagues like this are great. It's another way for new talent to really prove themselves.
With the two teams we're looking at here, HellRaisers and Heroic, right? It's not that these guys suck by any means. It's just they're outside that top 10. Now, we have seen positive signs. We have seen upsets coming in from them. And obviously, this new Heroic roster move with Rubino only seems like a positive one, okay? So someone who can frag a little bit more and be more consistent and has played on a higher level, bigger stages, etc., than S-Tag had. So that's a big move there for Heroic. And then on the other side with HellRaisers, getting back Bondic, that's a bit of a home and away type drama situation, right? But I think he is a better, probably more consistent player who's also played tournaments more consistently than the likes of Fates or who was the other player they had?
They had HS standing in.
Stico was there before he left for...
Yeah, you are right.
But I was just going to say, like, to kind of join the conversation regarding HellRaisers, I genuinely think these guys are going to be hard hitters. I mean, even though the roster doesn't really jump off the page when you see the names, I mean, Bondic's been kind of just under the kind of mainstream to Tier 1 for a very long time now. His nose has been always close to that monitor.
Yes, indeed.
But, you know, on top of that, I think their results recently were cool. I think Woxic and Issa are prime examples of the FPL program and, you know, getting picked up there. I think this team actually does have potential.
And it shows the route that these teams need to take to keep up with the big dogs, right? When you have a team like FaZe who just picks the best players in the world, puts them in one unit. G2 does the same with the French scene. You know, you have Astralis and Nor because there's that much talent in the Danish scene. You know, HellRaisers, they can't just pick up Kucher again, right? Or someone like that who's experienced and all that. They need to find how do they maintain a similar level of firepower. Well, go to where the like mad aimers are, which is, you know, FPL, Rankcast, those leagues where individual players play for individual accolades. And you could see how early on it was pretty much obvious that, you know, both Woxic and Issa are getting adjusted to the competitive scene. But now both of them are great. Like Woxic is doing a great job on the op, Issa is doing a great job as the entry fragger and just as the hype man for the team, really keeping the levels up. And now you can see with an experienced in-game leader and good fragger like Angel, a good strategical coach like Jonta, the pieces are there. That's why they made it to, you know, the Pro League finals and made it out of groups there. So the pieces are there for these teams. Obviously, you know, not good enough maybe as someone like FaZe, but good enough to pull out a couple of upsets here and there. And for Heroic on the other side, I think their most impressive feat is keeping Yugi on the roster. I mean, the way that guy has been playing, and when you look at the oppers in the Danish scene, right, Device is there, and he's not even, you know, he even wanted to give it to Dupree at times because he wants to move to rifling. So the fact that he didn't move to Astralis or North is a great perhaps time for Heroic that they can build the team around them.
But while we're talking about, having all the pieces, HellRaisers as an example, I do have a question. It may be a bit controversial, but now we have Woxic, who is clearly the stronger AWPer of him and Dead Fox. He's found his footing. He understands the competitive environment. Dead Fox, sure, okay rifler, but when you're going hunting for talent, when you're battling for top 10, what is his role now? He does seem to have kind of lost his way a little bit in terms of being... I mean, he was the AWPer, right? He was brought into AWP.
But he chose to step back, right? He would prefer to have been a secondary AWPer that whole time, as far as my understanding is. Within the team, I think he actually has a lot of impact rounds, ones that you don't really expect. You see him sneak into a bomb site from time to time and get a multi-kill and secure a round. But I think he's just not necessarily an entry fragger, but he's, always in that pack that's going to be attacking the bomb site. And I've seen him do some good lurking. I don't think that, he's one... You could upgrade him. Sure, there's probably players out there to upgrade him with, but he understands the system.
That's the main thing, right? I think when you look at what HellRaisers are trying to achieve and how some of the other guys are performing, yeah, he's not useless, right? But is there a player out there that could perform better than him in the same role? Probably yes, and that's the problem. He was in the team as the AWPer. Now there's another AWPer, so is he really good enough at the other role that would for him to maintain the spot on the team?
Absolutely.
The Betway odds that came up, right, and they had Heroic as, they had HellRaisers as the favorite. And I agree with that, unless Yugi has one of his performances, because that kid can run around the server, find opening AWP picks everywhere, as long as they're able to get him that, and they have a good enough economy to give put in his hands. He's always looking hot.
I am a little concerned, though, because, I mean, just from HLTV, they tend to get updates on players playing in the match, and it does have S-Tag back.
Oh, great.
So that could throw a spanner in this
the whole discussion then was invalid.
Well, I mean, no, the discussion is not invalid because we know Yugi is a win condition for Heroic.
In addition to, in concerns to this game.
Yes, absolutely. But I mean,
great talk about Heroic in general and their dreams and aspirations, though.
But yeah, S-Tag.
So Rubino's not there, or is he?
Rubino's there as well. So
instead of Yugi.
Oh,
great.
Oh,
well,
so that could really throw
pack her up, boys.
Yeah. That is
HellRaisers. Let's go.
That is if HLTV.org hasn't made an error.
They never make errors.
All right. Well,
I believe them over any other source.
There is potential. There is potential for that to be a little bit of a mess up for them because of Heroic. I mean, bringing in S-Tag, let's not forget he was removed after some disastrous LAN performances, as well as, of course, not pulling his weight as expected. Rubino was brought in.
That's actually a great comparison, a great parallel between these two teams. Dead Fox is the S-Tag of HellRaisers, right? He's not necessarily useless. He's a role player. He's not going to blow your mind on LAN, but he's not in a position to do so. But there's a clear upgrade in terms of Rubino, right? A more experienced player in the same role, did it with Dignitas, now North before, right? So I think that's a good way to describe where Dead Fox is for HellRaisers.
Yeah, I mean, Rubino is a player that I think has got kind of a lot of respect and admiration from the Counter-Strike community for his tenure and for his achievements. I remember when he announced his free agency, there was a lot of people stepping forward saying, this guy should have a team.
He chose to step down from that North roster, right? Which is a curious decision considering.
Which is ridiculous in itself.
There was more going on behind the scenes with him at the time, right? It wasn't just a Counter-Strike only based decision. There was things going on outside of the game as to what probably influenced that. Now, sure, he did get a lot of flack, but he was just a role player. He picked up the crumbs, right? He was basically doing whatever was needed of him. And that's something which a lot of players, you need to have a very strong mindset if you're going to do that. Taco is a guy who comes to mind, right, from SK. He is a guy who's the entry fragger, and he plays the roles. We know everyone needs to do everything in Counter-Strike. We get that. But someone on a set execute is the entry fragger. Someone is going in first so that Cold Zero can come out and get 2 kills. And that's Taco's job. And he has a strong mentality with that. Rubino didn't obviously live up to that before because other things were going on. Is that something that's changed in the time he's had off? I know he's been playing for teams. He played for Dignitas. There was like a couple of Norwegian mixes in there.
Stood in,
I think in terms of roles, the most probably, I don't know, the biggest truth is that there is a role of who gets to do what they want to do on a team and who gets to do what they have to do. If that makes any sense, right?
Deep.
If you're playing with Nico, obviously he's going to get to do whatever he wants to do. And someone who has to throw crappy smokes and hard grenades and buy the flashes and drop the guns is going to be the guy who has the least star power on that team and someone who is willing to do so and still have a good mentality for the team, right? And that's what is the biggest truth, I believe, in terms of roles. The roles of like entry fraggle lurker are not as clear cut. Yes, you have a guy who predominantly, like Cold Zero in SK, is going to be closing out rounds, and for example, Fur and Taco are going to be the ones opening out, opening rounds. But it's not going to be a case 100% of the time, and it shouldn't be because you cannot structure a team as rigidly and expect to succeed. You have to be flexible. You need to be able to adapt.
And I do think that's something that does sometimes get kind of lost in translation or lost in analysis when we do talk about, when a new player, for example, like the likes of Yugi, the likes of these newer names, we got Woxic, Issa, there are players that have been playing Counter-Strike for a great deal of time, and everyone has favorite routes, favorite positions, favorite ways to play, favorite sites to hit. And when you join a regimented roster, especially one that's been established already, it's kind of crazy when you don't let that thought slip into your mind of they haven't necessarily, this is not what they're used to. When you're just playing Counter-Strike on a day-to-day basis, you're probably not, going to be throwing that smoke specifically and being forced to change sites altogether. I mean, sure, that's what makes a great player, but we haven't considered that as often as we should.
I don't know what you think, Chad, but I'd like for time to come where a coach is what coaching sports is. He sets the roles, he sets everything up, and the players just play. I think right now it's still not like where we are. I think the players still have a big say, but that way you avoid all the fighting between, oh, you get my positions or I get yours.
So that's the coach you think should be stepping in.
Yeah, I know, like Renegades, when Jacob joined, they were actually looking at moving positions around, and Gomez was the manager. He was kind of standing behind us when we were Vox Eminor and early days of Renegades, and he's like, I don't know why we just moved Azra away from Catwalk to put Jacob there on Mirage when Jacob has played Connector the entire his career. It's like they're making changes because they get in this little bubble where they think it's going to be a better decision, whereas someone standing back can look at it and go, that's a terrible
external perspective.
Yeah, that's a terrible decision. Like that doesn't make any sense. Just leave it as is, or this makes more sense for your play style. And there's things like that the players, they get things in their head. This comes to the Device and Dupree thing that you brought up. Devices have gone, well, we're not winning the tournaments with me on the AWP. Maybe if I go to the rifle, this is what I consider his mentality was. And I'll give the AWP to someone else, right?
And it's also hilarious doing it for the major. Out of all tournaments, this is the first tournament where you want to make the full switch. And we saw what happened mid-games. Device was picking up the AWP over Dupree, right? Because they just wasn't working. And that's a situation you definitely want to avoid. But if you have the time for it, I do think it's a very interesting discussion because it starts with creating a culture or an atmosphere just in general. If you go way back like 3 or 4 years ago, right, players were not as disciplined as they are now in anything, like in the game and all the stuff that's outside the game as well. When do you practice, how focused you are, how do you determine like roles and all of that stuff. So I believe that, in the future it would be great. You would avoid situations where, a star player or whatever isn't really feeling it, and then he's like, maybe I should go to B instead of A, where in reality he should be, your star player should be in a position where the most action is happening, where he can have the most impact and people can't avoid them so easily, to say, right? And that's something that if the team is not sensible enough to see themselves and to agree on, that's where, you have a coach. He sets up who guards where according to their abilities, according to their tendencies, and then you work around that, basically.
We are just reporting that we are waiting for one coach who's just struggling to get into the server
pretty hard
at the moment in case, excuse me, in case you're worried that the game was never going to start. We're not just here to talk for fun, as well as, of course, there is plenty of fun going on. I'm enjoying this topic. I am, but I just want to make, there's lots of people that are probably sitting there in chat going, oh, why do they keep talking? Start the game. We don't control that, all right? Tim?
Tim?
I don't know, someone.
There must be a Tim out there. There must be
probably
one
a Tim
right there.
There's always a Tim watching, isn't there?
Those goddamn Tims. Anyway, back into the interesting conversation, because I think it's really worth exploring the fact that as we've got more and more disciplined, coaches, in fact, Jonta is a prime example, of someone that has been kind of through a lot of failures and trips and stumbles, has become quite a leader and a force to be reckoned with.
I'm curious as to how much say they actually get, though, right? This is the question mark. Because I would love to know. Because every team has a different system. There's some who just, the coach is more like an analyst. He'll just look at demos and give that information to the in-game leader. If you have a strong in-game leader, that's kind of how it's going to flow, and then he's the dictator to the rest of the team. But I agree with Yanko. If we ever get to the point where the coach is actually setting all the roles, then you have your in-game leader as more like a quarterback in NFL, right? He's still calling the plays. He's still, the one, geeing up the team, getting them ready for whatever the play that's going to happen. But the coach is the one who's decided what that play actually is and how that play is actually going to unfold.
And I think that's like great, having the coaches set the game plan and everything, and then it's just down to the players to execute, right? You still need to be able to adjust. I think actually the NFL is a great example in that sense, right? Because, coach calls the play, the quarterback gets it in his headphones, but maybe he sees something and changes it right before the play goes live, or play changes like in between after the snap, and then he has to adjust, extends the play, right? And I think that's the same for Counter-Strike. You get the call at the beginning of the round, especially if it's a default, but based off of maybe the CTs are aggressive, right? And then you need to adapt, and then that's the value of the in-game leader, being able to see those things, and react in a very timely manner.
Yeah.
Everything happens so fast. You need to realize, okay, so they're pushing B, 3 players. Maybe we should let's go explode AS. We get the numbers advantage. We can get the trades, plant the bomb, play the after plant. And that's the value in that role, as opposed to being able to put a guy solo B and know that he's going to get 2 kills and extend the play.
What do you make of the conversation that there is potential for someone to have too much power within a roster that's I worry sometimes when I see it, like an in-game leader who has an iron fist. I agree that it's good to be able to control your players, but you're never going to be right all the time. And I think having a combination of minds, not the best example, but Fallen Zeus, the fact that you have multiple opinions that hold value, I think is important to a team not get stagnating and getting lost.
Yeah, I think it needs to be with the culture, like Yanko's talking about. It needs to be a top-down thing that people stay motivated. And there are different moves, different ways you can approach the game that needs to be part of your mantra. And you need to understand that it's up to you to reinvent the wheel in your own gameplay. Then we have the overarching stuff. We got moves within the team. We got strategies within the team. We have the way the team interacts outside of the game. I think that there's a case with in-game leaders or too many voices in the server that you can have too many cooks, right?
Sure.
And that is a problem. I've experienced that before. Too many people making mid-round calls. Shut the hell up. I'm the in-game leader and do what I said. Because that is, if it messes up and we lose the game because of that, I'll take the blame. But if you do it, you took in-game leading away from me, mate, we're going to have a word, right? So this is the situation I've dealt with before, people over-calling. And then what happens is, if someone sides with this guy, now we've got dissent in the ranks and people aren't trusting calls.
Absolutely.
You want people to trust your call 110%. There needs to be wiggle room, but you need to be the overarching voice, I think.
And that's not necessarily because your call is gospel. It's because if suddenly 3 people trying to do something different in a round, you've got chaos. You have to follow.
Absolutely. That's why I'm always 100% listen to the caller, for the whole game. Even if you think it's the worst call in your life,
follow it.
Execute it. Then after the game is over, after the tournament is over, you can always go back and say, okay, you're a reasonable guy. You can say, oh, yeah, this was a bad call. I thought this happened. And then you can review. And if it constantly happens, then you get removed, right? If you're bad at your role. But I agree. It's not just necessarily in in-game leaders, but another interesting discussion is how much power do the star players have, right? So maybe for another time, Alex, surely we'll have further delays.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll just put a little pin in that. We'll come straight back to it when we need it. I enjoyed that, guys. That was an absolute pleasure. It was fun talking Counter-Strike with you. And talking Counter-Strike, we have people that talk about Counter-Strike. That's right. We have Henry G and Sadikist, our resident talkers. Hey. How you doing?
Yeah, okay.
I think that's the word on the street.
Okay.
Coach is in the server.
Okay.
We're ready to rock and roll. We're going to be jumping into this in just a handful of seconds' time. But the one the question I'll leave you with is, so much damn Inferno, and do you believe HellRaisers can contend with the best?
Is it confirmed that they've got the full lineup on Heroic side?
You tell me.
Okay, well, if that's a
S-Tag.
big
Never
question
mind.
mark
Yeah,
on
the
the whole
dream's
thing.
over. Yeah, S-Tag's playing.
Okay, so that means they haven't got the full lineup. He's playing instead of Yugi, from what I heard. So that's going to make things a little bit problematic. No AWP on the server for the Heroic side. So
I'll do
yes, yeah, you're going to step in for them.
I'll step in. I got it.
So we'll see whether HellRaisers can run away with this one. All things would point to yes. S-Tag was a player in this team for quite a while, but he was moved to the sub bench. He was brought in as a young gun, a lot of talent, allegedly. Didn't really see it at all.
Allegedly.
As a
Don't believe that, do you?
He seems to have some, as he'll get the first kill. It will be a headshot in return, though, as this is a very aggressive round from both teams. This takes down S-Tag, and now it's to 4-on-4. Snappy has been tagged up to 6 HP.
Well, let's see if he can make do with it either way, because he's going to have to be swift, more so now that Monty's gone down to Bondik. Watch for Bondik to walk out from the apartments as well. Bomb still top middle. Push down Banana from Nico. Desperate play, because they're all heading back that direction. If he found kills, great. He locks them in toward it. If he goes down, he opens up B, and now Snappy on the 6 HP. Excuse me. Try to stuff my food down between our break, Henry. With that 6 HP, just going to go back over toward B site and be arriving in due time. Good position. But sure to go down. Sure to go down. He gets 2. That's all right. Fair enough. Now he's giving Rubino a chance.
A slight chance, yes. He'll be coming from the ruins, and that's actually quite beneficial. You can see they're not really suspecting him just yet. Dead Fox jumps across bravely, and Rubino has got no kit here, no grenades, and he has to find both these kills and defuse the bomb. They have got him locked in. Will he be able to do anything with it? Bondik seems to suggest no, as he'll find the headshot, and there it is, 1-0 for HellRaisers. So why we talk about Yugi missing such a massive deal, because he is the AWPer, probably the most skilled player on the team. Very good AWP, very flashy, very flicky. You'll see all sorts of crazy shots from him, but that's not going to be available to him. He'll be AWPing instead. If I had to guess, maybe... I know Modi picks it up from time to time as a secondary AWP. I haven't seen if Snappy does. I'd say Modi, probably. We'll see what happens. As they won't take a full investment here in the second round. It'll be Deagles and a CZ. But Nico going to be struggling somewhat. He has got a very good Deagle. Not for long, though. Down it goes.
Well, Astag, the man who's stepping back in, is going to hold from Coffins. Nico down already. Saw Nico the other night after the event in Katowice. It's interesting that all of the Danes hang out together. We mentioned Kirby as well, coming back on the same plane, even hanging out with Astralis.
Yeah.
Despite the use of the word betrayal.
Well, it's all over now, isn't it? You either get on with it, or you don't, and they seem to be fine with it. It's just business, I guess.
I sleep with one eye open and a knife under my pillow. 3 MAC-10s. We'll see if that works. Modi's going to work back out with the CZ. Smoke down. He knows they're somewhere toward the top of mid, but he won't have any information as to where, so he rotates back in. It's a cool CZ. It's going to be the banana split. I haven't had a banana split in a while, and quite frankly, with my physique as of late, I don't need one. Deagle misses the first shot. Angel's able to slip in underneath. Bondik's going to find Astag as well, and immediately it's called the save for the CTs.
Definitely. Modi and Rubino will save what they can here. 3 MAC-10s doing a very good job, Angels especially. It's weird to see how HellRaisers have developed. Like, I remember casting them a couple of years ago, like full CIS squad, similar to the flip side. And now they've got all sorts in there. They've got Hungarian Dead Fox. They've got Isser and Boxic in there. Bondik and Angel still kind of keeping that dream alive. But overall, this is looking quite convincing. No exit frags picked up from Modi or Rubino. They'll just hold up and have another go in the next round with their upgraded pistol. Flashbang saved by Rubino as well. He's picked up a tool for the Danes.
A tool. So with that, 2-0, 3 kills in total for the Danes, by the way, all from Snappy. Snappy versus Snatchy, that'd be a good one.
That would be. Nico versus Nico.
We talked about that. We could have Nico versus Nico and Nico.
We could. Well, grenades towards the mid area and Banana. Attempted to stack. Nothing in B bomb site for the CTs whatsoever. Problem is, how do you get that information without committing a player inside? There's so many nooks and crannies to check. Snappy PD50 towards the arch position here. Hashtag full eco. Nico, same story. Modi got armor in the first 4 spies. It suggests he's not aiming for the AWP, but we'll see. As smoke comes in towards this side of the map, the bomb is still down on the T steps, so Rubino could get one here and fall back, but his teammates not quite ready. Rubino does get at least one. I'll pick up the AK-47, leave the MAC-10 there. 4-on-4.
Angel. Holding it slow and steady as he holds top of middle. He's alone in doing so. They'll go back for the bomb. Bondik, the one to grab it. It's the opening pick by Rubino does certainly have its consequences on the setup from HellRaisers and how cautious they are as they work toward B, but so too does the trade back in return, because the defense over toward the A site are slowly realizing that Ironclad, that's a cool looking PC-50 if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, I think that's one of the new ones.
Yeah, that's really cool. There you go. I think Army Green and like Navy Green, Navy Blue, Navy Green are both really underrated. Great colors.
It does look good. What also looks good is a 4-on-4 where the CTs won't even attempt to retake. Modi makes sense. He's got the helmet already. He might as well take that to the next round and save himself $1,000. Bit of a bonus situation depending on how his interaction goes down. 1 kill, I think that's all Bondik will get. Good positions by the CTs. Did they recover the weapon? I'm not sure they will. They actually might have a chance. It's up to Dead Fox to try and save it. They've picked it up. The AK now should run away. Estag had a bit more out of this. Modi will take him down. It's only a MAC-10 given up, though. Not really too much use for the CTs. Looking for where it went.
Yes, up. Been a name we've talked about very rarely on this HellRaisers team, actually. talked about Angel lots. He's been around Voxic, Bondic, Dead Fox. They've all had their moments. We don't talk about Issa as much, do we?
Well, he's got to prove himself. We'll
Well, you're right.
Snappy will be on the AWP, so I thought about Modi. I kind of thought about Snappy as well, but he'll be bringing in to this first round at least. We do not have Yugi, so Snappy needs to show us what he's made of. He has got the helmet, so the Mac 10 will get a record range. Dead Fox will find Nico, but there is a quick exchange there. Estag takes him down. He's down to 20 HP himself. 4 on 4. Mac 10 in the hands of Issa. Just Rubino without the helmet, so watch out if he gets taken down by that Mac 10. Rotate around. It's going to be Snappy to patrol B. Makes sense. He's got the AWP. He can patrol that a lot better than a rifle can. Hold up, take a shot, fall back. New line. As we hit the 1 minute mark, HellRaisers. Certainly the favourites here. Heroic not playing with the full lineup.
Madi. Still in front of Library. Wants to work back out and find Issa. He won't get away with much more than that, though, because Bondic finds the kill immediately thereafter. Snappy's going to take down Angel, and Bondic, although he gets towards Speedway, wants to be aside. He's got Snappy already looking back that direction with the AWP. So the advantage firmly for Heroic. Positionally, you might suggest that HellRaisers has something in this round, but good read from Snappy. Position's easy. Bondic never even saw it coming. Well, he actually did. He turned around just in time. But you understand the metaphor. Voxic. Ooh, Voxic goes back. Ah.
It's not bad, is it?
Snappy. That's how you know he's not an opper, because he's not willing to take that duel immediately. A lot of guys would at least try and take the fight. Oh my god, Voxic, this could fall apart on the back of that as well. Rubino, the last alive, wants to work inside of the site, and Voxic knows that he's coming from Banana. He's made noise. He's thrown the Molotov. And Voxic's not deterred. He's won the 1 versus 3, and HellRaisers continue on in the lead.
That was very, very good by Voxic. You can see why he's the main AWPer. Heroic, not really going to do much about that. It was down to Snappy, you're right. If he could have denied to have one play, just fallen back in time, it would have been absolutely everything, but he didn't. Voxic found him, had time to plant, and then one by one picks them off, and that will be HellRaisers with a huge lead at this point. CZ, Speedy 50s, a couple of deagles of armor as well. Voxic using the T-steps just to look towards middle. I'm not doing any particular stack here. It'll be one player at CT spawn, maybe send through towards B eventually. So this could be the start of something great now for the HellRaisers squad. I've got a similar problem to you, this shoveling of the food into the gob.
Into the gob. It's certainly, it's the esophagus gets a little angry.
Yep.
Diaphragm's not too pleased. A stag's not happy about
Arteries
anything.
clogged.
Well, that's gonna happen sooner than later. Age 44, he lived a full and happy life. A stag slides out to kill Angel, but Dead Fox gets the response. Madi gets a decent kill. That's well over toward A, which gives them a gun to work with. 2 kills for Madi, and now that he has the AK-47, no kits, armor for Madi, but 9 HP, this should be a save.
Yeah, they're so far away, so what's the play here? Do you try and go for it?
Nah.
No, definitely not. Modi making sure he jumps in the barrel there, very graceful. And it will be 5-0 for HellRaisers, but it did cost them a lot. Dead Fox, bit of a hybrid player for them now. I guess he would be secondary AWP to Voxic. He was the main AWP in this team for so long. He's actually one of the most talked about players when we used to analyze HellRaisers. Like, well, if Dead Fox shows up with that AWP, but that was, the problem is it was so rare when he did. If he had like one amazing round per game or half, and he was like, oh, okay, he's super sick, but then he wouldn't do much else with it. I haven't really cast him too much since he's been back on the rifle, so I think I've always said he's decent. Like, I don't think he's below average or anything. Looks like both coaches are on. Peacemaker, of course, the coach formerly of Tyloo, before the major. A bit of a controversial signing getting to this team, but he's been in a lot of them now, and hopefully it's the one that sticks. I know he's looking to find a project that he can really be part of and help out. As we get into it, round number 6, 5-0 for HellRaisers on the T side. That's the problem, and Snappy's back on the AWP. This could be a very quick game, but I'm hopeful for this one. Snappy suddenly as well, flashed, and he'll be tagged, and there's Molotovs all around him. 18 HP, and he will fall back, but that's going to wreck his confidence trying to take the peaks anymore.
Stag waiting inside of the top of Banana has the M4. Gonna go out. Flash, look for the second player first, even though the one in front of him was directly and fully blinded. And therefore, the kill comes from the man jumping that he wanted to try and kill. Not that it may have happened differently if he fired at the other target. You never know. Nico. I almost called him Hiko because it's heroic Nico.
That's true.
Was working back toward the B site to make up for the lost soldier, the fallen victim.
I miss Hiko.
Do you?
It's been a year since we've even seen him.
More than that.
Yeah.
Wow. I miss him as a person.
Yeah, I
absolutely.
haven't seen him at events in so long.
As a player, I feel like he was falling off toward the end, if I'm completely honest.
Well, Angel, he's not this round at least. He'll take down Snappy. That's the AWP. Remember, that AWP has almost zero impact so far. Maybe it's just why I'm just getting on the rifle. Rubino will be waiting in the pit, but he won't have much to do. All the terrorists are coordinating themselves towards this area. Nico has to find at least 2 kills that even justify a retake. Flash is pretty decent. If he can find a second, he cannot. Good trades. That's perfect. CS. This up. We'll drop a smoke and then sit in front of it. Use it a bit of a one-way. So he blocks off the speedway, and they're going to have to save again. 6-0. They'll save the AKs once more. Same 2 players. Yeah, HellRaisers is completely bullying them right now. Having way too much fun at the utility to start. Like Snappy, you can see he's trying to play the role of Yugi, but obviously not as effectively. Trying to go for those aggressive picks at the start. Hasn't got anything yet. Just gets tagged down to 10 HP and then drops after that. And they will be hunting. Bondic can certainly justify this.
Well, we'll see if they get away with it. He's already presumed they're going to be working back toward the apartments, which is not a bad assumption to make. Perhaps heroic, knowing that that is also likely, though, is going to be more passive in their positioning and just chill out.
They will save the weaponry.
Bless me.
As the orb comes out again. We'll have a look at the scoreboards, perhaps. 1 for 3 for Rubino, Nico 1 and 6. He's got to be one of the key players for this team. Snappy has got 5. I don't think any have come in through the orb. Yeah, I might be mistaken. Maybe 1 has. But here we go. Round 7. Another full buy for the heroic boys. Need to start posting some rounds, so this is getting dangerous. As Snappy will smoke off towards middle, looking towards the boiler. Good utility used by the CTs, but they take a nade to the face. Estag and Nico might want to consider falling back here. They'll throw another smoke. They're trying to start their dominance towards this side of the map, but obviously they are getting pushed off. They've used most of the utility and got nothing for it. Estag, no grenades. And his teammate Nico's got 1 smoke. So not all is lost. They get a boost up from what I can tell on the site. Yeah, they have. This is the setup. Who was using this recently at LAN? I think it was Fnatic, wasn't it? It was Golden and Flush, I think, at the back of the site. Who were
That
playing.
sounds right.
Yeah, so Golden was boosted up. And maybe it was Crims or something, but one of them was in the back left here. And it was a really cool setup because he took all the aggro away. You can't really spot that player if he's crouched looking in the ground. As soon as your teammate goes down, you turn around. So it was definitely Fnatic using it.
Yeah, I remember that. I think it was Crims because Crims then dropped down to Orange's 1 and didn't move. And they didn't overcommit to it at all. I think it was a 1 versus 4 they could have easily gotten too aggressive with. I remember us talking about it.
Yeah.
I remember. Well, Nico's going to try and remember how to get some kills.
Oh, they're doing the CT spawn smokes.
Yep, they are. This will be a wrap toward Ruin.
But he has got the boost.
That gives him the angle. They know he's somewhere up there. Angel, so tagged, yet he doesn't go down. Dead Fox will, and they stop going for the full wrap because they want to put Bondic in toward water. Shots out. Estag.
8 seconds, Matt. This is looking good. Estag doing everything he can to win the round and then stay alive. They've done it. They've posted 1. Issa will have to fall back. He'll get no money for the next round, but I don't think that's a huge issue. But the setup works once again. The Fnatic setup. They kind of shut down the approach towards the ruins. A lot of teams doing that recently. You smoke deeper in CT spawns, focus one at the bomb side as well. You can have a plant in those smokes or try and wrap around and get to ruins and pinch out the players on the B side. So decent numbers surviving for Heroic there. Like I said, did everything they could just to win the round out. Voxy back on the AWP. Can they reset Heroic? 2 AKs into their CT setup. Same players, Modi and Rubino once again.
Inside a boiler. Snappy's gonna be forced off of the angle at Arch, and they get mid wall. Dead Fox takes down Snappy.
Oh,
Rubino
no.
to get Dead Fox. It's kills Angel, though. That's a problem because now it gives Nico a chance to get back into 4 versus 2, and it's going to fall apart for HellRaisers. Another round 4 heroic, surely, as Modi makes sure of it.
And they've broken the money, I think, as well for HellRaisers. There was only Dead Fox with a pistol there. They probably can force they wanted to. Voxic could buy the AWP. I don't think they will go all in. We'll have a look. One AK-47 comes out. Doesn't know the money we're taking that as zeros. What we call that tactical purchase, or what was the other name people are calling it? Can you remember?
I don't. Sorry, I'm got some comms open in my ear.
Ah.
We're trying to solve that. I was thinking, figure out the panel, but it's Voxic, Angel, Nico trying to flash himself back out, and both players were already looking at the wall, ready for that.
4 versus 3. S-Tag down to just 18 points of health. Partial by working out quite nicely for HellRaisers. They have the advantage for now, but Modi ready and waiting to shut that down. Bondic, if he makes this kill, it could be everything, but he'll be flamed out of position. 4 players heading towards A, and just Modi there with the AK. Good angle just to get 1 kill and fall back, but he has no idea exactly that what's going on towards the apartments. Luckily, nothing. Challenge, and be taken down. Issa with the deagle. They recover AWPs and everything. Get it? There it is. Probably wanted to juggle the weapons over Angel, but it's fine. You apply the bomb. And it looks like the CTs will be saving here, so we're getting 2 rounds in a row. They actually lose to the partial buy of HellRaisers, the CZs, of course, doing all the work. Picking up weaponry all over the place. Angel with the AWP. He'll give that to Voxic next round. S-Tag. 18 HP, couldn't even justify the retake there. So that is going to be a reset, but they do save weaponry. Means they will be able to get a buy after 2 successful rounds. But they'll be having to take some compromises somewhere.
So Bondic will babysit the bomb. Talk about a hostile situation for a babysitter to be in. I thought I was a bad one to take care of. Imagine having a bomb.
Yeah, very volatile. Could have a
Well,
tantrum.
okay, in that case, I'm actually probably still a little worse. At least the bomb's somewhat predictable.
Yeah. Tactical timeout, Heroic. Remember,
Rightfully so.
Heroic do not have the full lineup here. I'm just going to send that home a few more times, just in case anyone's wondering what the hell's going on with this scoreline. It's to be expected. They're missing their AWPer on the CT side of Inferno, which is actually a bit of an issue. But they'll take the timeout now, maybe just to adjust and work out how they're going to proceed now. 7-2 overall. They have 3 timeouts remaining as we get deeper into this evening. So our 3rd game of 6. These 2 teams have 1 more match to play after this. We had AGO versus Na'Vi to kick things off, and Na'Vi, believe it or not, 1-2-0. It wasn't the cleanest of games. This looks like we're ready to go. Back into the action.
And back underway. You're right. So AWP for Snappy again.
Yeah.
And he's going to start off over toward B, an early B play. I take that back. No, I don't. Yes, I do. He's over toward the apartments. I was very confused for a second. I could not correlate the player with the map. But they did go for 3 aggressive at B with a rotation back from Rubino. He's put a utility deployed, a deep smoke deployed at Banana. That's going to allow a Stag to get very aggressive. Will you have a Stag party?
What's that?
A Stag party?
Yeah.
It's not that good.
Modi, I like this position. This is always a lot of fun. Good for taking up players in the boiler. You can see Snappy will have responsibility of the quad. They've actually got 3 players here. Rubino joining the fun as well. So no one towards the arch, really. There is 1 player rotating in. They've got a lot of presence towards the bottom of Banana. You can see Stag's there, but he's only got 45 health, 46. He'll be waiting by the half wall right now, Modi. Unless he gets completely flashed, it's unlikely he dies here. Bondic, I don't imagine what pre-fire is. Sees the incendiary, that baits his attention towards the quad, or at least underneath it.
Bondic. Nicely played in to find Rubino. Nico. It's an immediate shot back into Issa. Angel will fall off the position to return, though, and a stag at B going down opens up a wrap potential towards CT, and Bondic will confirm that by getting Nico as well. They'll go 3 alive toward B with A and a save call. Snappy and Maudie are already backing off this. So it's going to go 8-2. This is going from bad to badder.
Well, 3 players up for HellRaisers. Once again, though, Heroic are saving. Money will be dwindling, but as long as they keep the AWP up, I guess it's fine. I'll be able to force out 3 CZs or maybe a couple of SMGs. I'll only get $1,900 per player, so it's not too bad. Like, they'll still be able to drop some weaponry, a mixture, maybe 1 rifle and 2 SMGs or CZs, we'll see. It will be HellRaisers winning 8-2 so far, though, as they open things up once again, focusing towards middle. It's a good setup by Heroic with the boost towards the canopy. But Nico only good for 2 frags, any frags they get. Or they take another tactical timeout. We'll have a look. I'm almost certain they'll force this round. Will they? Won't they? The age-old question. They won't. Okay, well, Nico and Rubino taking a very modest round here with just the Desert Eagles.
MVP for Snappy. Oh, wow. He just barely got away from that. One more tick and he was down. So double Molotov play.
Oh, he did go down.
Okay, it was a nade that got him, though, but not the Molotov. I was going to say, I didn't think there was a nade at the start of it, but there was certainly a nade available. Good read. Flashed as well. That's becoming the commonality.
The one-more combo.
That's right. I keep forgetting you call it that. I need to remember that.
We've got to make things our own.
Yeah, definitely. Wombo combo 100% Henry G. You nailed that one.
I made it up.
Maudie getting both Issa and Bondic. I 100% believe you did, Hank. Look at Maudie. Maudie's making things up right now because he's telling a lie. Not a convincing one for Angel, at least. Back to a 2 versus 2. You can't lie to an Angel, Henry.
It's true. They'll see right through you. Dead Fox and Angel trying to finish things off here. There's an all for S-Tag. I'm not sure if he's well-versed with the weapon. Nico certainly is with the AK-47. Should be able to find that first kill with Molotov. But Dead Fox taking down the first, and he should burn. Flashbang again. S-Tag can't do anything with it. So they'll still have money to buy into this one. They didn't go all in. So this will be okay. 9-2, though. That's certainly not. We need to see Heroic post a few more here. Using the stand-in, it's understandable that they are dropping to a team like HellRaisers, who have looked very convincing recently. They normally make playoffs at most events they go to. Like, they're always a bit of a dark horse overall. Underestimated by some.
Snappy backs off. Rubino. Interesting as it is. They'll play a similar setup toward B that they did last time, and then were successful with it. Or at least on the initial part of the round, they were successful with it. They got 2 kills from the boosted player when the wall of smoke came in. Do we see a similar wall? It doesn't look that way yet, because so far it's over toward top of middle where they're making contact, but no one to be found. Smoke off on the arch side. Bypass BMW, and Monty's going to play with Rubino. They're loving these cheeky little positions, aren't they?
They really are. Molotov, though, that's quite cheeky as well. And we'll be up to Rubino now. His teammate flashes him in. Has he got what it takes to find multiple kills here? He gets 1, and we won't know if he gets a second. He does not. Issa takes him down. The snap, he can't live up to it. The trades just aren't good enough here. Bomb down again. They've got no kits, and a 3 versus 2. Dead Fox will be coming to set up the plant. A little bit disjointed with the bomb position, but that's okay. Nico and S-Tag know that he'd round, so they can't just sit back. But look at all the smokes available for HellRaisers. It's a bit of a nightmare. They can just keep smoking off these choke points coming in. Bondic throws another one. It just makes it so difficult to actually get close to the bomb site. S-Tag, though, seems to be fancying his chances. Looking towards the graveyard. Issa will check in about 5 seconds, I'd imagine. He'll have a little peek. Always sent his to die, but it's absolutely fine. They win the round. Came out to 2 versus 1. That was 5 heroic, and they only get the maximum loss bonus again. So 3K, 10-2 down. Looking like HellRaisers are going to be cleanly finding a win on Inferno. I normally try and build up some sort of storyline, but it doesn't look like Heroic are really prepared for it. The AWP of Snappy isn't really able to counter Voxic at all. Just don't know. If Yugi was here, it would be a much different storyline. He is a very good AWPer, world class, and the boys mentioned on the desk, it's surprising the Heroic have kept him for so long.
And not to clarify that, not to say that they kept him as in they haven't kicked him. In other words, they've been able to retain him for that long because other people would be seeking out his services. I do remember when he was brought into this team as well, it was stated very clearly that people thought he was exceptional. And he was probably the best player on the team, had so much potential, and in practice he was unstoppable.
The best quote I think I've heard from his teammates is that we still haven't seen the best of him on LAN yet. The stuff we've seen him do in practice is unbelievable. We're waiting for him to hit that level at LAN, you know. So still more to come, it seems.
Nade again from Dead Fox to Madi. Although Madi wasn't the target last time, but still another nade from from Dead Fox that works. Foxic to take down Nico. Nico with 1 kill beforehand on what gun, Henry?
The CZ75.
Thank you very much for filling us in.
There it is.
That's the one. Snappy with another. Voxic to get it to 11 rounds, though, for HellRaisers. This could be... I'm not going to say it.
No, we'll probably still seal the round.
No, I've already jinxed it. It's fine.
But 11-2 and Rubino 3 and 8. He has had some really rough performances in this team, as you can see. I really kicked things off against Cloud9, I think it was, and they lost 16-1 and Overpass. And that was his first showing with the team ever. And he got like 1 for kill in the first half. But to be fair, it was when he just first joined. He was just filling in the role of S-Tag. This is probably a similar situation. The team's in disarray of other full lineup. He's not known as a huge, crazy frag or anything, so I don't think too much. Going for the wallbang. Actually works out there for Snappy, I think. Hit Angel down 2 damage. That was through the half wall. And good blind shot. Okay. Snappy starting to wake up now with the AWP. They'll fall back and go back towards A, perhaps.
He's gonna try and work down the apartment hallway. And just a couple spray shots toward the wall for now, but that's not gonna do much. Voxic. What if Voxic played for Vox Eminor?
That'd be weird.
Isn't Vox Eminor also the name of a band?
I don't know. Not that I know of. Not that I've heard of.
I hope not. That'd be kind of lame. Rubino puts a smoke in the hallway. But it's back over toward Banana that looks to be delectable at this point.
Well, Snappy's out of the coffins of the AWP. He needs to hit at least one of these. If he goes down to nothing, S-Tag is done for.
He might have to get off the coffins to play a wider angle too with that deeper smoke.
Well, he is flashed. He should be able to get at least one. You can see not too much pressure his way. Yeah, easy kills already. He might even get another one. There it is. Starting to show why he has the AWP. Clean sweep, almost. Voxic gets 1. 11-3. Heroic holding off the B approach. You can see they tried the flash towards coffins, but still relatively comfortable for Snappy. This could even wide peek and have no one looking at him whatsoever. Tactical timeout. Technical timeout. Okay, so we get to do this and just wait. We can talk about what we've seen so far. It's HellRaisers versus Heroic. A game where Heroic can't field their full lineup, so it's understandable why they find themselves 11-3. But Snappy, he's a secondary AWP of Heroic generally when Yugi's around, and trying to pull it off as a primary AWP. The best thing he's done so far is holding up in the B site. As the match is still paused, we'll work out what kind of scores we've got here. 13 kills with Dead Fox at the very top of that side. 11 for Snappy. You can see the coaches. Oh, that's the problem. It looks like the coach had an issue again as Peacemaker has to rejoin.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. As we get to the last round of the half, he would certainly want to be on board for this game because he's going to want to witness this firsthand so they can take it back to the drawing board. Certainly wants to make a home for himself.
Yeah.
My dad once told me a story when he worked in radio of a guy who'd come from one station and then went to another, and he came in on the first day and said, "Oh, I used to work here, here, here. Oh, I did this or that." And a guy just looked at him and said, "Don't unpack your suitcase." That's kind of how I feel about Peacemaker at this point.
Yeah, he's been in so many teams now, hasn't he? He's just really getting himself out and about. He's been to Asia, South America, North America, now Europe. We'll see if he can stay a little bit longer in this team. I'm sure he will. I think he knows it's becoming a little bit ridiculous now. As he did just die in spawn, that suggests he has managed to get to the spec slot. And we're back underway, ladies and gentlemen. 11-3. Heroic have the AWP again. Last round of the first half. They're going to need this one to have any chance in the second.
Snappy backs away. Nades down. Dead Fox again toward Banana. Round 15, as you say. Yesterday we had quite a few 11-4 halves. In fact, we had 3, possibly even 4 of them over the course of our Pro League evening. Issa works his way back out to the atrium, but he turns back over toward the arch. I'm assuming that smoke landed on a Molotov to have such a precarious gap underneath of it. And that certainly is going to benefit Nico, because Spray coming through, he's able to spot down Angel. Finally a lead for Heroic early in the round. He'll be smoked off back by Library, puts him back in toward the small pit. Watch for the small shots from Sinappy as he gets just enough of an angle.
11-4 on the cards here. They definitely need it. Dead Fox using the smoke to buy himself some room at the outside. Actually, very good smoke. You see there's no gaps there. He's trying to bait out with his shoulders. And he'll wait on the other side. Modi now with the rifle. Needs to be very careful there. Flashbang could take him down. Dead Fox opting to look towards the arch still. There's Modi dropped. You can see he's so focused. And Dead Fox even more so. Great shot to take down Rubino. 3 versus 3. This all fell apart. It was a 5 versus 3. 15 seconds come in. Bomb planted safely. Do they have a kit? They do. They've got a couple of them. Voxic, though, with the AWP, looks towards the library. Not for long. Smoke down. They have Molotovs, flashbangs, and HEs. If bonding through the AT through the smoke now, it must be guaranteed a kill. Voxic might be in a very similar position. Boom. Easy shot. Looking for the next one. Nails that one as well. And that's going to be the round. 12-3. Guaranteed at this point, Matthew. I don't usually say that word very often. But there it is.
Not bad. Voxic to take out Snappy, 12-3, the comeback score, Hank.
It is.
Which means we could be in store for all the rounds, but it doesn't look that way. There's nothing that suggests to me that Heroic has an argument, shall we say, because they're struggling tremendously to even shut down very basic executes. This round from Voxic,
this will kick it off.
Quite good.
Yeah, this is when you can see, well, they're going to struggle here. That's a 3 versus 1. Really did open the floodgate to get 3 rounds in total. Even with the stand-in, or former member, whatever you want to call him, I would have hoped they got more than 3 rounds on the CT side of Inferno. They all know the roles within the team, so just a case of slotting them in. Rubino, 3 kills, 9 deaths, S-Tag not much better. Not exactly the super sub. Snappy at the top of 12, had a couple of good rounds of the AWP. One that really solidified a round for them. Dead Fox at the top of HellRaisers. And Issa 7 and 8 at the very bottom there. 96 ADR for Fox. But he's dead.
He's not alive.
But, Matthew, this is where Heroic will win the pistol. Then they'll lose the CZ in the second round.
Ah, right.
They'll force back. And then we'll begin the slog.
Right, okay.
CSGO.
Thank you very much, George R. Martin, for writing this game of Inferno.
It's the game of CZs. The game of death.
The game of death. What is dead may never die.
So what's the play here from Heroic? They have no nades. They have a deagle for Rubino. If he wasn't fragging at all in the first half, I'm not sure the deagle is the correct play as Angel starts to go to town. They are missing some shots though. The boost looked quite good. And this might even be better. Voxic, good job with the P2000. That's that deagle gone. I think that's a really weird buy on a map like Inferno. But there we go. He thought he'd give it a whirl. Voxic. If he can hit this shot on Nico, who's stand up by the bike, he has to reload at the worst possible time, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Nico standing on the bike again and again. Keeps showing his head, but won't get taken down. Voxic gets the shot onto Nico, finally. Snappy holding what he can inside of the site. He falls as well. HellRaisers with the pistol. Or will they? There's a kit for Dead Fox. They'll make sure of it by putting him on it instead.
13-3. Maybe the comeback is not on. They'll probably force by in this second round, though. I would say they can't really afford another eco here and get the AKs in the third. Yeah, there's the AK. Snappy will pick it up. They might not go all in. Oh, they have. So yeah, absolutely. They can't really justify doing that. So Rubino gets given the AK map. Would you do that when that player's on 3 kills, 10 deaths? You're going to get 1 AK out. Is he the ideal candidate for it? Objectively?
Not my vote.
Like, he's not the biggest fragger of the team, and he's obviously
He's
not
got 3
performing.
kills this game.
Yeah, so what? Why give it to him? I'm not really sure.
I think I'd rather see it in like Maudie or probably Snappy's hands. I don't know.
I think if it was me doing it, I'd say Nico, you're our star player next to Yugi.
Yeah, it could be Nico. Yep. Yeah, obviously Yugi's not here, so I'm strictly
Maudie
speaking
as
about
well.
right now. Yeah.
Just like Rubino feels it doesn't like. Oh wow, we get an AK. He's not exactly simple of the squad, is he? Either way, that's just me chatting. AK's going to try to do its best towards B. Dead Fox, MP9. You can see they haven't really focused on the rifles here. This could all fall apart. Not necessarily expecting the force by here in the second round. Traditionally, you go for the AKs in the third. They've got 1 minute. All 5 players making their way towards B. They've only got 2 CTs on the other side. They've got the smokes. They've got the flashbangs, no Molotovs.
So Nico getting ready with smoke. So too is Maudie. 1 to Coffins, 1
both
to
boosted.
Yep, CT. Dead Fox. MP9 needs to go if he's going to. He's not. Heroic's gotten in the sight cleanly. MP9 finally goes to work, but it's taken down immediately.
Could have a lot more than that, I think. Both of them boosted up, then one bails out, hangs the other one out to dry, and this looks like a Aurora ground any day of the week, as they will have 2 players low, though. Watch out for that. But they managed to recover some weaponry. 3 versus 4. CT's going to save already. That was quite a disappointing hold. And it will be Heroic keeping their heads above water. So like I said, Matthew, lose the pistol, then win in the second round with the CZs, and then they'll probably lose to the force by the next. And that's how it all was written, and it seems to be coming true.
You are quite an author, Henry.
Oh.
I have to say, I enjoy your novels immensely.
Well, at least they're following the plot. So it's fine by HellRaisers. They didn't want to risk us losing all the weaponry, but it felt like that B hold could have been a little bit more successful. The synergy was a little bit off. They're both boosted ones or committed to it. One has dropped down, and then the other had an MP9 by himself, and then it's got disjointed. What can they really do with this, though? They are going to presumably force into the round on the CT side. So CZs, FAMAS, UMP, they are all in.
Toxic back around. Isa's going to do some damage, surely, with the... Ooh, Galil. Or FAMAS, rather. Excuse me. The equivalent of the Galil inside of the apartments. A little bit of damage deployed his direction through the smoke. He doesn't fire back as of yet. You were right about the force buy as well, Henry. You were so good at this.
We'll see. Flashbang going to be deployed by Nico. Bounce off the chimney. Almost every team does this, but it's ready and waiting for it. He's staring into the wall, waiting for the flash. It's unlikely someone has run out without anything. So smoke first, flashbangs to follow. Issa actually is in a good position for this. That smoke is very good for his position. If he can dodge the flashes, there it is. You can see he's ready and waiting. Gets the first, drops down. Oh, he can get a second. I didn't expect that. The force fight looking good, and Voxic even better. There it is. 14-4. No bomb planted. They answer straight back.
Henry G.
Like that.
For Prime Minister.
3 out of 3.
Only good countries have prime ministers. They don't have presidents.
Force buy again. We did say this would be the battle. And it looks like heroic blood will be spilled first. S-Tag with a Deagle armor, that's it. Snappy with the glow, it's not too bad, all things considered. But Voxic has got the AWP and a very good spawn. Where does he go with it? He'll come in towards the T steps. Oh, he doesn't even have to, all down the bottom of the middle. Run.
How did he not hit any of them? Like
everyone was there.
5 of them in front of him, and he goes right between 2. He's just going to stand inside toward Boiler. He knows they're going to be working that direction. If they're that aggressive outside of the bottom mid stairs, likely that means they're going to get aggressive toward the top of middle as well. And Isaac positioned, but backs off now that the smoke is down, throws a nade into the hallway and down the stairs. They know that means he must have been close. So you can see the suspicion arising on Madi's positioning as he looked it through the door with the CZ. And in fact, he's going to now head down the stairs and join his teammates. Fast play yet again from Heroic. Snappy to lead the charge. Angel needs to be ready. Flashed in by his teammate. You no longer have that little cheeky rooftop you can bounce the flash off, which used to sort of be the roof over top of the site itself. Good trade back as Nico gets a kill.
Still within a chance, though, but they have to take a deep breath and try and challenge the pits, and this is ready and waiting on now. 2 kills, both of them headshots, looking for the hat trick. He'll get it as well. Another headshot to his name, and Modi left in a 3 versus 1, but of course he's got the railgun, so that's not a problem. He will get another headshot there, but unfortunately can't find the killing blow. Bondik will save the day, 15-4. Round number 5, just going to be pistols, maybe at SMG for Nico. Match point. 16-4 looking like he'll be a scoreline here. Oh, Rubino potentially going to finish on 4 kills there.
That's not good enough for Rubino. Used to
especially
be
when they're like
Dignitas, North.
They've got to play like a puggier style when they're missing a player. Like, you're not franking at all. You're not going to have the tactics, are you? And Voxic and Angel going to town towards middle. Snappy just hoping they just get a little bit overzealous and find a 1D here. Just keep tapping it. Hope for the best. Maybe they'll walk into your crosshair. Doesn't seem like to be the case. Matt, it's going to be 16-4. Heroic. Understandably so, with just a stand-in on a map like Inferno, won't really make much of a dent to HellRaisers whatsoever. Modi, he just type kill at this point, don't you? There's nothing to be done. He's got the bomb, sneaking around the apartments. What is the play at this point? He's already waiting, but of course, out-dueled by the pistol at range. It is becoming a little bit obscene.
Yeah, it's almost like it's gotten worse since we've come back from the 2 lands.
Since people realize it, start talking about it more. Like, it's, you can just see like
maybe
how
it's just
ridiculous.
people are starting to exploit it more for that reason.
You can see that's like a straight up duel where he got dinged. So he got headshot in that process, and he headshot that guy as well. But the CZ won in the heads up duel there.
Well, they're still going to lose at the game, but yes, it's a certain talking point, which already bothers me in many ways because it's just unpredictable at this point in time, and a lot of players have certainly brought it up. HellRaisers dominate Heroic, no questions asked in the affair.
Absolutely. It will be quite a clean-cut victory there for the HellRaisers boys. They are the full lineup tonight. We have to keep just making sure you're aware of it, and Heroic, unfortunately not with Yugi tonight, will be struggling somewhat, but they have got another map to prove themselves now.
Absolutely. Well, with that, as always, we take a short break. When we come back, hopefully HellRaisers, or excuse me, rather Heroic, will join us, because they didn't this time. We'll see you in a minute.